everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square and I'm here to tell you that No Man's Sky is a real game. How do you know I hear you scream? Well, because I've played it. So Sony invited us to a Swish London venue last week to get some hands-on time with one of the most anticipated PlayStation 4 games. Now Sony UK always puts on good events, but let me tell you, this was in a venue overlooking the Thames and the entire London skyline. I don't think they're going to be hiring the same venue for Ratchet and Clank, and that shows just how important this game is to Sony's portfolio. But the big question on your lips is probably, is it any good? And to be honest, the answer is, I don't know yet. So, it may seem obvious, but the place I'd like to start is by stating that I played the game on a PlayStation 4 console. Now I checked this and I double checked it because there are rumours late last year that Hello Games was having problems getting the game to run on Sony's new gen format. Whether that was true 3 or 4 months ago, I couldn't tell you, but it's running fine now. There are a few frame rate issues and the kind of things that you'd expect from an unreleased game, but it generally ran pretty well. The second thing that I should say is that there was no mention of multiplayer or virtual reality during studio founder Sean Murray's presentation. And to be honest, I think we're getting to the point now where PlayStation VR support is looking unlikely, especially at launch. As for the game, well, it really is as massive as the developer has promised, and it achieves this using mathematics. The way it works is, it runs your coordinates through an algorithm which generates the landscape around you. And what this means is, if you and I were to stand on the exact same spot, then we would see very similar things. So this not only allows the game to be absolutely gigantic, but it also cuts down on technical limitations like load times. But having a gigantic galaxy is one thing, but having interesting things to see and do is another. So what do you actually get up to in No Man's Sky? Well, to me, the game seems like a Twitch streamer's dream. Sean Murray talked about the way that you'll explore in order to gather resources and find items, which you can then trade or craft with in order to get better equipment, which will allow you to explore even further. And the objective of the game then is to reach the centre of the universe. Now you'll need a great spaceship and an awesome suit to do this, so you're not going to be able to get there from the very start. And the impression that I got in the 30 minutes or so that I spent with the game is that you'll make your own fun along the way. You'll encounter different wildlife, different plants, different resources, and there are even NPCs that you can interact with. But one of the really neat things is that these NPCs will all talk a language that you don't understand. And until you've taken the time to learn the words that they're saying, you won't be able to strike up proper conversations with them, and they may even turn hostile. And Hello Games ensures me that there's a ton of lore hidden in the game too, and you'll need to understand those languages and interact with those NPCs to extract it all. Even more interesting is that you can leave your own mark on the world. Say for example that you need to tunnel underground in order to get to safety. Well, that information will then be stored server-side, and if someone lands on the same planet and explores the area where you were previously, they'll find those tunnels that you left behind. It's important to note that I never got the impression you'll ever encounter another player while exploring No Man's Sky's galaxy, but that's not to say the universe is empty. If you look up to the sky, you'll see trade routes and supply lines and enemy spacecrafts and all sorts of other crazy stuff going on in the skybox. And the really cool thing is that you can fly there within an instant as long as you know where your ship is. Now during my demo, I actually lost my ship, but I was able to find a factory, and this had a landing pad where I could basically craft an EMP and call it in. And the whole crafting system seems really deep, but obviously within a 30-minute demo I didn't get a chance to fully explore it all. One thing I will say is that Hello Games has completely ripped off the Destiny cursor-based inventory system, and it works a treat. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery after all, and if it was ever going to rip off any parts of Destiny, it picked the right one. One other thing I should mention is that the game looks absolutely extraordinary. Now the artwork has been inspired by the covers of old 70s sci-fi novels, and the developers really pulled off the look. It looks amazing. And there appears to be a lot of variety to the visuals too. One planet that I landed on was very hot and I started to overheat within a few minutes of landing on its surface, while another one, there were snowflakes falling through the air and the edges of my screen started to frost as the sub-zero temperatures took hold of my suit. Now there are legitimate concerns, and I worry that without any objectives and without any quests, it's going to lose its luster very quickly. But if the crafting system remains interesting, if the lore is engaging, and if the planets remain as varied as the two that I've seen, then it's going to keep you occupied for a fair few hours before you run out of things to do. So it's still too early to draw any firm conclusions on No Man's Sky, but I'm definitely excited by what I've seen, and I can't wait to sit down with it for a full weekend and put it through its paces. Now if you'd like to know more about the game, then you'll find a full written preview on Push Square, and I'll put the link in the space below. In the meantime, let me know in the comments how hyped you are for No Man's Sky, and remember to keep it locked to Push Square for more PlayStation news, reviews and features. Thanks for watching.